Hello, this is Lucas Palmeira from Imaginando, and I'm here to give you another tutorial on DRC. Today we're back to the classics for a song of Jean-Michel Jarre, and we're gonna do Oxygene 4. And for that, I had to do some digging, and I found out that I actually used samples from a Univox SR95 for the drums, because I think that's what he used for his. On the bass, I used samples from an FM bass because it sounded to me a lot like something out of a DX7, but it sounded a lot like an FM bass. So let's get right into it and do the sounds. We're going to start with a noise sound. This sample, I'm going to take off the K7D for now. And let's start with the DRC. Bring back the default patch. Okay. And first thing, take off oscillator 1, raise noise to maximum, raise envelope generator to amount to 730. This amount controls how much this second envelope generator controls the cutoff frequency. And let's drop the cutoff frequency to 768. Resonance, we raise it to 720. Okay. And now we go to LFO2 rate, and we raise and we drop the rate to raise the rate to 396, like this. And now we raise the LFO, modulating the cutoff, to 167. Okay, like this. Now for the first envelope generator that modulates the amplitude, attack at 080. Then we go to the decay. 500, 800, 525. Okay, like this. And on the second envelope generator, the one that modulates the cutoff, 184 for the attack, 230 for the decay, and sustain at maximum, release at 340. Okay. Finally, we go for some reverb, 807 on the decay, and amount at 130. Okay, and this is our noise. Let's go to the next sound, which is a pad, this sound. Okay, gonna turn off the K7D. I'm just gonna show you how the other K7D is. This K7D, it's a 1/4 triplet with half dry wet and ping pong, a little bit of ping pong. Basically, it's that. I'm gonna turn it on. And on the pad, this K7D, it's 1/8 like all the other ones, with a little bit of dry wet, but with half hoe and a little bit of stereo width. And all the other K7Ds you can basically copy from this one and put it on the other sound. So let's take it off. This chord is basically increasing a note 1 octave higher and 1 octave lower, a little bit on a lower note. So I'm gonna bring back the default patch. Okay. And the sound without the chord is like this. Like this is basically playing 3 notes. And first thing I'm going to do is raise the first oscillator 1 octave and go to the second oscillator and drop 1 octave. Go to sub-oscillator, raise 1 octave, and on the second oscillator, fine-tune to 104. 104. Okay. And on the first oscillator, we drop it to 795. And now we raise the second oscillator and the sub-oscillator to maximum. Like this. Okay? Now, on the first, we go to the pitch modulation. We turn off the LFO oscillator 1, and we raise the modulation of the pitch to 160. It's just a slightly pitch modulation. just a small one. Now we go to the filter, and on envelope generator 2 amount, let's keep it at 509, cutoff at 392. Okay, resonance at 512. Low pass 4-pole to a low pass 2-pole. And now we go to the LFO2 here, and we change the rate of the LFO2 to 0.64. 64. And now we go to the LFO2, controlling the cutoff, and we raise it to 634. Okay? Like this. Now, for the first envelope generator that modulates the amplitude, 118 for the attack. 500 for decay, sustain 800, release at 300, so we have it done. Envelope generator 2, the one that controls the cutoff, 322 for the attack. 591 for the decay. 489 for the sustain. And release at 100. Okay, now we go to the VCA. This VCA controls the volume of the sound, and we raise velocity to 592. This means the higher the velocity, the higher the volume. Finally, we go to the reverb, and we give it 411 of amount and 705 of decay. And we have this pad done. So let's go to the next sound, which is kind of a small arpeggiator here. Just turn off the K70. Okay. This is the sound. Let's bring it back to default. Sorry. Okay. Default again. And first thing we're going to do is change it to a square wave, both first oscillator and second oscillator. And on the first oscillator, we raise the pulse width to 796. Okay. And now, first oscillator at 938. And second oscillator at maximum. Okay, like this. Now envelope generator 2 at 500, we drop the cutoff to 230. Resonance at 0. And now on the modulation page of the keyboard, we raise it to 724. This means the higher the note, the higher the cutoff. And on the keyboard, we raise the keyboard to 173. The higher the velocity, the higher the volume. Now for the first envelope generator, we have 0, decay 310, sustain 106, and release 100. For the second envelope generator, we have 230 on the decay, sustain at 364, and release at 100. And this one is done. Okay, let's go now to the pads. These are the pads. I'm going to turn off the K70 for now, but like you said before, it's the same as we used before, so you can just copy it, but I'm going to turn off for now. Bring back the default patch. Okay. And first thing I'm going to do is raise master, pregain, and oscillator 2 to maximum. Okay. Now, go to the oscillator 2, drop 1 octave, and fine-tune it to 100. Okay, like this. Envelope generator 2 amount to 826. And now, cutoff, we drop it to 778. Okay, release at 0. Now, for the modulation of pitch, we raise it to 184. This will modulate the pitch just a tiny bit amount. It's very subtle. And now for the first envelope generator, 118 on the attack. Decay at maximum. Sustain at 435. And release at 423. Okay. Now for the second envelope generator, we have decay and sustain at maximum, and we raise the attack to 094. Release at 100. Oops, sorry. Release at 645, sorry. Kind of mixed up here. Okay. Attack at 094. Okay, perfect. Now we go to the LFO1 and we drop the rate to 400 and we raise the rate for 110. And finally we go to the reverb and we raise decay to 747 and the amount to 423. And finally, we change the performance mode from a poly to mono. The poly to mono, sorry. For this next sound, this sound is exactly the same. You just have to copy it, as you can see. The only difference in sound is actually on the mixer. So it's not on, so you just have to copy it, basically. It's exactly the same sound. I'm gonna turn the K70 on the B4 now so you can check it out. Just a question of volume. So let's go now to the last sound and the lead sound. Okay, turn off K70. This is the sound. Bring back default patch. And first thing is master pre-gain oscillator 1 at maximum. Modulation pitch, we raise it to 184. Very subtle. LFO1, 410 as well. Okay, and now envelope generator 2, 826. This sound is actually quite similar to the one before. 826, 0 cutoff, resonance at 140. Okay. Now attack at 076. Decay sustain at maximum. Release at 322. Now for the second envelope generator, the one that modulates the cutoff, 118. Decay at 0. Sustain at maximum. Release at 426. At 256, sorry. Okay, finally we go to the reverb and we raise the amount to 184. Okay. And decay at 747. Now we turn the K70 on. And I think we have everything ready. So let's now listen to the melody that I've recorded before. So bear with me just a second while I get this ready, guys. Okay, let's now listen. And this was it, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. This is kind of a special song for me because it was one of the first electronic things I've heard in my life. This basically was with me through my childhood. So if you enjoyed our content, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel. We will be back next week. So goodbye.